folks. Welcome to a special tribute episode to the wall of Indian cricket, Mr. Rahul Dravid. Recently announced his retirement from international cricket. A sad day and a big loss to Indian cricket. But again, you have to respect the man for calling a day at his own terms. Great contribution to Indian cricket and to world cricket to show that Indians can compete in unfavorable conditions outside the subcontinent, and again has done so much for the country. It's tough to even put it in words. Your take on his career and his role in Indian and world cricket?
I mean, if you take Sachin and if you take Dravid, if you take these two players, and if you were to ask me from which player you would love to learn batting from, in terms of technique, in terms of staying power at the crease, it would definitely be Dravid. And this is something huge, because Sachin has always gone the limelight. Dravid has always taken the back seat, fortunately or unfortunately for Dravid. But in terms of the technique, in terms of the ability to play the short ball, Dravid is much ahead, not much ahead, but ahead from Sachin Tendulkar and the rest of at least Indian batsmen. What Dravid has given to Indian cricket, except the 13,000 Test runs and another 10,000 ODI runs, which is huge, is the fact that Dravid and Ganguly both were given the responsibility to make Indian cricket clean after the match-fixing fiasco, and I think we have to give credit where credit is due. If it was not for four players, Dravid, Ganguly, Sachin and Kumble, the kind of cases that we have seen in Indian cricket, whether it's Mohammad Azharuddin or Manoj Prabhakar, or in Pakistan cricket, if it was not for these four players, it would have been hard for Indian cricket to come back to where it is, and I think a credit is due to Dravid in that. Another thing Dravid has given is that he's given his sincerity. He's made sure that whatever he has achieved, first of all, he is tremendously humble, and he's sincere in the fact that he makes no bones about how hard cricket is, and it sort of shows from his technique. It sort of shows from his batting, and I think I will always respect that fact.
I think throughout his career, a common fact about Dravid has been that he's lived under the shadows of the greats around him. Ever since his debut, everyone remembers Sourav Ganguly scoring 131 at Lords on debut, but no one remembers the 95 Rahul Dravid scores. No one remembers the 180-odd Dravid scored in the 2001 Kolkata Test, but people remember the 280 scored by VVS Lakshman. No one remembers the 140-odd Dravid scored in Taunton against Sri Lanka in the 1999 World Cup, but people remember the 183 Sourav Ganguly scored. No one remembers the 100 that he scored in Pakistan with Sehwag in that famous 400-run opening partnership, but people remember the triple century that Sehwag scored. So he's been the back end of a lot of famous match-winning partnerships, but people remember
the more glamorous players,
more flamboyant players, more out of those relationships. He has made innumerable contributions to Indian cricket, and these are just the few examples that I can think of off the top of my head right now. There are way, way more. And a total team player, I think if anyone was to describe a team player, the perfect example would be Rahul Dravid. If you have an issue placing another batsman or bowler in your team, you ask Rahul Dravid to keep wickets. He does it for the entire tournament, and he does not make any major mistakes. When your captain resigns, you have an issue with the coach. Which man do you turn to take over the team? Rahul Dravid. Open the batting. Who do you go to? Rahul Dravid. A perfect team man, and I think I have a lot of respect for the man for the very fact that he always placed the team ahead of himself. So I don't know if people got a chance to read the tribute by his own wife that she wrote about him, and we'll post a link on our website so you guys can go check it out if you haven't already. But she wrote that even in personal life, he has that discipline that he brings towards cricket. He might not care about anything else in life, but when it comes to cricket, everything has its own place. His kit is sort of his temple. He does shadow practice ahead of every big match, and at this age, when a lot of people lose interest in the game, after achieving so much, as you said, 13,000 test runs and 10,000 ODI runs, a lot of people might lose interest and they might sit back and gloat on their achievements. But this man actually had the dedication to go and practice ahead of every important game and made sure that his approach to the game and his mental conditioning was right.
And not only that, until the very end of his career in the England tour, he was India's mainstay. And I think whatever you say, if your other 10 batsmen have scored very, very low, and if there's one guy who's given you slight respect, that's Rahul Dravid. And I think he's always counted when it matters. Even when he was not in form, he still made sure the kind of person he is brings positive energy to the team, which is crucial. And I think one gesture of actually MS Dhoni said it all about Rahul Dravid was when during the Trent Bridge test, when Ian Bell was run out and he had to call back, he sent only one man to give press conferences that day. He only trusted Rahul Dravid to make sure that everything which was said about that incident is correct. And I think Rahul Dravid just is the epitome of correctness in Indian cricket and in cricket in general. No scandals, no nothing, and just family man. Has given a lot, and I think these things are more than your score, more than what will you remember of Kevin Peterson regardless of his score. You will always remember the arrogance. For Rahul Dravid, it will be his simplicity and perfectionism towards the game, and I think Indian cricket will miss him a lot in the past.
Absolutely. Very humble, very statesman-like. After reaching every milestone, you would see a lot of people going crazy, expletives being used, which is a common sight nowadays. But every time Dravid reached a major milestone, for him it was never about achievement, it was about going on. He knew the job was only half done and he had to go on and score as much more as he could. And that was one of the biggest things about him, because he had the appetite for runs.
How would you rate him as a captain?
I think that's one place that he did not achieve as much as he could have.
Winning in West Indies, which other captains have not. Winning in Pakistan.
Previously failed to do, yes.
Yes, winning in Pakistan.
I agree, but again, the fact of...
winning in England, remember that.
The fact is, he had a very good team to go with it. So I definitely am not a big fan of the role of captain in cricket, because very few captains can actually make a big difference to the outcome of the match. It depends on the kind of team you have. And Dravid definitely during the tour of England, that was the watershed moment for Zahir Khan. That's when he actually came into his own with all the county experience behind him and utilized the conditions to the max. So I think that was sort of the watershed moment for Team India on the whole, that they can go abroad and win on a consistent basis, which had sort of started under Ganguly's captainship, but under Dravid they made a habit out of that.
Yes.
So we have to respect the fact that he did bring the team together. And as you mentioned, the four stalwarts of the game, Ganguly, Dravid, Tendulkar and Kumble, they made sure that Indian cricket came out of that embarrassing scandal about match fixing, and all four of them worked towards bringing Indian cricket where it is right now.
Yes. And now your favorite Dravid innings?
Very tough to pick. I am not sure which I would pick, but if I have to go and dig real deep, out of all the amazing innings that he's played, I would have to go back to the Kolkata Test, and that would be amongst the top innings, simply for the fact that India were behind by an innings. India had followed on in the previous innings. There was no thought about winning the match. It was about saving the match. But the way him and Lakshman batted, they turned the match around, and they actually, Harbhajan finished it off for India and made sure that we got the victory. So that was an amazing performance by all three of those. So yeah, that combined with his performance in the 1999 World Cup, at which point of time he wasn't considered a great ODI player, but he still went on to become the highest run getter in the tournament. So I think those were some of the achievements which are really understated, but he actually worked. I mean, it was the underdog, and he proved himself there. So again, all in all, a great team player. What about you? What are your memories of Dravid?
I think I have two memories, but as we mentioned, most important part about Rahul Dravid was him being the team player. Whenever the team needs, he does well. But my two favorite memories of Rahul Dravid would be, first it would be the Adelaide Test of 2003. Rahul Dravid comes in and scores 233. Given that there was no McGrath and Warren playing in that test, and the pitch was as flat, but still somebody had to go and do the job, and India have generally not travelled well, as is apparently clear in the last 1 year. Dravid really made 233 look like a great innings, a great feat. Adelaide is certainly one of the most prettiest ground, and he certainly made it his own that day. And the fact is that even in the second innings, India needed a solid 72 from him to win that test. And I can certainly remember that shot he played of, I think it was Stuart McGill, and he cut the ball, and with his cap raised high with his bat, and some of the greatest memories for an Indian fan. Another of my greatest memories would be the whole England tour. I mean, the whole Indian squad was in shambles. There was people were leaving the pitch because of injury for every day basically, and Rahul Dravid really steadied the ship, or if you can call a sinking ship steadying the ship, but he certainly did his best. I mean, Lord's 100, given the fact that only Ajit Agarkar had managed to score a Lord's 100, certainly not the best batsman India has produced. So it's good to see Rahul Dravid's name out there. Just a great ambassador for the game, and just a true test cricketer, and you don't find many of those. And I think cricket would miss, I think he probably would be the last one in his generation to play proper cricket, copybook cricket. Even the greatest like Mahela Jayawardene and all those have been spoiled by T20 dill scoops and stuff like that, but Rahul Dravid still remains pure and still remains just a great cricketer. So what do you think is in store for Rahul Dravid?
I think,
or what do you hope he does for cricket?
I do seriously hope that he does take up some sort of role with Indian cricket or domestic level to begin with, and then go on higher up in the administrative circles. I would really, really, really wish to see him taking more interest and bringing more to the game from his perspective, because he's one statesman-like cricketer, and for him to set an example in the administrative circles is what BCCI absolutely really needs. Because over the years there have been allegations of favoritism, and then again there are factions within the BCCI, the South versus North, East versus West debate and stuff like that. So it would be really interesting to see someone like of his caliber and of his integrity in there to make sure that the BCCI gets sort of a facelift.
Would he be a great mentor to the young batsman, or would he be a great administrator?
Absolutely. I think he would be a great mentor for sure. There's no two ways about it, because it's not all about the talent you have, it's about how you apply that talent, and who better to guide you than Rahul Dravid. I mean, the mental discipline required to succeed at that level is not a joke. And for someone who's been through that for 20 years, 16 to 20 years of his life, I mean, who better to guide you through that?
And it would be fair to say that in terms of stickability, Rahul Dravid was higher than any batsman we have known, but in terms of his talent, he wasn't as gifted as some of the greats of the game. So I think it's a testament to him, who has performed very well given the talent he has, and been the second highest test scorer. I personally would like to see him in the ICC, trying to make sure that the game is run very well at the international level. Personally, I think he's a great ambassador for Test cricket, and he's probably the knight in shining armor for savior of Test cricket at least. And I think we need Test cricket's champion in the ICC to make sure that actually leagues like Bangladesh Premier League and IPL do not corrupt cricket as it is right now.
As you made the point a couple of minutes ago, that he's probably one of the last batsmen of our generation or his generation who played technically correct shots. And with the advent of T20 cricket, which we lovingly call here as fast food cricket at the cricket hotspot. But
it's not we, it's you.
All right, I'll take the credit. But in any case, with the advent of T20 cricket, it's more about entertainment and scoring at a brisk rate. The shots could be proper, could not be proper, but there are a lot of batsmen, even in the current scenario, who do have a very proper technique and who play the game with a higher than run a ball strike rate. But Dravid, as you say, is tough to replace, and he will definitely be missed.
Actually, another great memory I'll share quickly of Rahul Dravid is the 3 sixes he hit in the T20 against England. It was his first and only T20, and I don't think the Oval has been treated for 3 sixes from as classy a player as Rahul Dravid. Again, a great memory. In the end, I would like to say, like his career being overshadowed by Sachin Tendulkar, just 1 week after Sachin Tendulkar makes his 100th hundred, trying to overshadow that retirement. So I guess it's a fitting tribute to a great career, and we wish him well, and we hope to see him in the IPL as well as doing well for India and world cricket.
Alright folks, so thank you for tuning in into this special tribute episode for the legend, the wall of Indian cricket, Mr. Rahul Dravid. Hope you guys enjoyed what we had to present, and this is me, Sarthak, and my co-host Parth.
And we hope to hear from you about Rahul Dravid or any other cricket topic, and through our email, Facebook, and just go to our website, www.thecrickethotspot.com. The information is all there, so any feedback is welcome. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.